This is Earl Nightingale, speaking to you across the decades, from the warm hum of 1950s radio to the glowing screen in your hands today. Before I reveal the invisible formula that every genius uses daily, a quiet practice that transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary legacies, I ask you to take a small but pivotal step. If these words spark even a whisper of curiosity in your soul, hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like, and in the comments, share one dream you've held back, one goal you've been too afraid to chase. Why? Because this moment could be the turning point where you unlock your own genius. And I want you to join me on this journey to discover the formula that changes everything. Most people believe geniuses are born with a rare gift, a spark of brilliance that sets them apart. But I've met hundreds of brilliant minds who never fulfilled a fraction of their potential, and countless quiet, seemingly ordinary souls who left behind legacies that echo through time. In the 1960s, after years of studying those who achieved greatness, I call their secret the invisible formula, because it's not flashy, not loud, not obvious. Yet every genius, every creator, every world changer used it, day after day, without fail. Stay with me, and I'll show you this formula, not just to admire it, but to use it to turn your dreams into reality. I was born in 1921 in Long Beach, California, in the aftermath of the Great War, a time when the world was still catching its breath. By the 1930s, the Great Depression had descended like a shadow, turning bustling towns into breadlines and proud families into ghosts of themselves. We lived in a tense city, where hope was as scarce as food, and my mother stitched dresses by the flicker of a kerosene lamp, her hands worn, but her resolve unbroken. As a boy, I'd sit on park benches, listening to men in tattered hats grumble, "You need connections to get anywhere." Their words stuck with me, but they plant a question. Is greatness really about who you know, or something deeper? That question followed me through my youth into the United States Marines, where I stood on the deck of the USS Arizona during the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, witnessing a world shattered by fire and fear. I saw men broken by panic and others lifted by purpose, and I began to wonder, what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary? After the war, I found my calling behind a microphone in Chicago, broadcasting to a nation hungry for answers. As a radio host, I studied those who rose above, not the elite, but the everyday souls who built empires from nothing. The shopkeeper who turned a single cart into a thriving business. The teacher who inspired a generation with no resources but her will. The dreamer who turned a fleeting idea into a legacy that outlived them. In 1956, I distilled this wisdom into a record called The Strangest Secret, a message that sold over 1 million copies and touched lives across the globe. But the heart of that message wasn't just a secret. It was a formula, a quiet, invisible practice that I saw in every genius, every creator, every person who left a mark on the world. It wasn't about talent or connections. It was about a habit, a discipline, a way of thinking and acting that anyone could adopt. That formula is what I'm sharing with you now, because it's not just for the gifted, it's for you. Here's the invisible formula that all geniuses use daily, a truth so simple it's often overlooked. Imagine a clear goal. Think about it every day. Act on it, no matter the fear. That's it. 3 steps, repeated relentlessly, with quiet conviction. Picture your goal vividly, as if it's already real. Hold it in your mind morning and night, letting it guide your thoughts like a compass. And take action, small, consistent steps, toward that goal, even when doubt creeps in, even when the world says it's impossible. This formula works because your mind is a navigator, designed to move you toward the image you hold most often. It's not magic, it's mechanics. Your thoughts are like a compass in a stormy sea. They don't shout, but they always point true. Geniuses aren't born with better compasses. They're just more deliberate about where they point them. They choose a destination, focus on it daily, and move toward it, step by step, no matter the obstacles. And that's what makes them extraordinary. Not their talent, but their discipline. The beauty of this formula is its simplicity. You don't need a degree, a fortune, or a stroke of luck. You need only a goal, a thought, and the courage to act. But it's invisible because it's quiet, internal, unnoticed by the world until the results appear. And when they do, people call it genius. But you'll know the truth. It's just the formula, applied day after day. Let me take you back to the America of the 1940s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, a world of grit and possibility, where ordinary people used this invisible formula to achieve greatness. In 1973, I met a factory worker named Frank in Detroit. He wasn't a scholar or a prodigy, just a man with a dream to hold a patent for his own invention. Every day, he visualized that patent in his hands, sketching ideas during breaks. He thought about it morning and night, letting it guide his focus. For 5 years, he acted on it, studying engineering in his spare time. By 1978, Frank's design for a new tool was patented, launching a small business that changed his family's future. Frank didn't have a gift, he had a formula. In 1954, I received a letter from a farm girl named Clara in Kansas. Her family laughed when she said she wanted to be a teacher, calling her dreams foolish. But Clara used a formula. Every day, she pictured herself standing in a classroom, inspiring young minds. She thought about it constantly, writing it down to make it real. She acted by studying at night, even after long days in the fields. By 1966, she'd opened a small college for women, educating hundreds. Clara's name isn't in history books, but her formula built a legacy. In 1968, a mechanic named Walter in Chicago dreamed of owning a repair shop. His coworkers scoffed, saying he'd never rise above his tools. But Walter visualized his shop every day, imagining the sign with his name. He thought about it relentlessly, saving every penny and learning business skills. He acted by networking with suppliers after work. By 1975, his shop was thriving, employing others. Walter didn't have connections. He had the formula. In 1970, a seamstress named Ruth in Memphis wanted to design clothes, not just sew them. Her neighbors called her a dreamer with no chance. But Ruth pictured her designs in stores, thinking about it every morning. She acted by sketching at night, even when tired. By 1977, her clothing line was sold in local boutiques, giving her freedom. Ruth's genius wasn't talent. It was persistence with the formula. In 1963, a schoolteacher named Dorothy in Ohio longed to write books for children. Her colleagues said she was wasting her time, but Dorothy visualized her books in young hands, thinking about it daily. She acted by writing one page each night. By 1971, her first book was published, inspiring thousands. Dorothy didn't need fame. She needed the formula. In 1982, a janitor named Paul in rural Kentucky dreamed of leading his community. They called him a nobody, but Paul pictured himself as a mentor, thinking about it every day. He acted by reading leadership books and volunteering. By 1988, he ran a community center, changing lives. Paul's formula turned a nobody into a somebody. In 1959, a waitress named Margaret in Atlanta wanted to start a bakery. Her family said she'd fail, but Margaret visualized her bakery every day, thinking about it with unshakable focus. She acted by saving tips and studying recipes. By 1967, her bakery was a local gem, employing others. Margaret's formula baked more than bread. It baked a new life. And in 1976, a veteran named Henry in Philadelphia, discharged and jobless, dreamed of building homes. Society called him a drifter, but Henry pictured his construction company, thinking about it daily. He acted by learning carpentry and networking. By 1983, his firm built homes for dozens of families. Henry's formula built more than houses. It built hope. These are real people, not myths. They weren't born geniuses. They chose to use the invisible formula day after day. Here's the painful truth. Most people never use this formula because they live on autopilot. They let their minds drift, focusing on worries, distractions, or the opinions of others. They don't choose a goal. They wait for one to appear. They don't think deliberately. They react. They don't act consistently. They hesitate. And so, their potential stays locked away, not because they lack ability, but because they lack direction. Your mind is a compass, but it only works if you point it somewhere. Without a clear goal, without daily focus, without action, it spins aimlessly, leading you in circles. I've seen brilliant men and women waste their lives, not because they weren't smart, but because they didn't use their minds deliberately. The tragedy isn't that genius is rare, it's that so few choose to harness it. Every unfulfilled dream, every life that stays small, begins with a mind left on autopilot. But every triumph, every legacy, begins with a mind set on a goal, guided by the invisible formula. The world will distract you. It will fill your days with noise, bills, news, doubts, routines. It will tell you that goals are for the gifted, that greatness is for others. But that's a lie. The formula is yours to use, right now, no matter who you are or where you start. The question isn't whether you can be a genius. It's whether you'll choose to act like one. I'm not here to inspire you with stories. I'm here to awaken you to a truth. You carry the same formula that every genius used. Inside you is a voice, soft but persistent, asking, what if you could be more? And the answer is always yes, but only if you choose to act. This isn't philosophy, it's navigation. It's the compass that leads you from where you are to where you're meant to be. This is your challenge. For the next 30 days, use the invisible formula. Every morning, picture one clear goal. See it vividly. Feel it as if it's real. Write it down and make it solid. Think about it morning and night, letting it guide your thoughts like a star in the dark. And act on it for 1 hour each day. Take one step, however small, toward that goal. Read a page, write a plan, solve a problem, create something. Don't wait for courage. Act, and courage will follow. Don't wait for perfection. Start, and clarity will come. The formula isn't about being flawless. It's about being faithful to your vision. You're not here to drift through life. You're here to create, to build, to leave a mark. The formula is your map, your compass, your key. Use it, and you'll discover a genius within you. Not the kind that boasts, but the kind that builds quietly, relentlessly, beautifully. Start today. Think today. Act today. Tomorrow, when the world wakes to its routines, you'll know the invisible formula. You'll face a choice. Let it slip away, fading into the noise of daily life, or seize it, using it to build a world of your own. Most will choose the first path, drifting on autopilot, their potential untapped. But you can choose the second path, the path of the genius, the creator, the builder. Every genius shares one trait. They use this formula consciously, deliberately, daily. They don't wait for inspiration. They create it. They don't wait for opportunity. They build it. They don't wait for the world to see their worth. They prove it, step by step. You hold that same power right now. Your life is a canvas, and the formula is your brush. Paint with purpose. Paint with courage. Paint with conviction. The world doesn't need another bystander. It needs your genius, your vision, your truth. This is your moment to stop waiting and start becoming. Your goal isn't just a dream, it's a destination. Your thoughts aren't just thoughts, they're a compass. Your actions aren't just steps, They're a legacy in the making. Use the formula, and you'll build a life that echoes beyond your years. The genius within you isn't a gift. It's a choice. Choose it, live it, become it. This is Earl Nightingale, signing off, but not before I leave you with a mission that could change everything. If this invisible formula has awakened something in you, a spark of possibility, a glimpse of your own genius, don't let it fade. Share this video with one person who's searching for their path, someone ready to think and act like a genius. Hit that like button to spread this truth to others seeking it. Subscribe so we can walk this path together, day by day, as you build a life of purpose. And in the comments below, tell me, what's the one goal you'll picture every day for the next 30 days? And what's the first step you'll take? Your words could inspire someone else to start, maybe even yourself. This is your moment, my friend. Think it, act it, become it.